Our guest today is Kiwi Kwan. Key has an amazing story. So you really want to listen to this podcast. And I never say that. I'm not a salesman, but he has an amazing story. He just was in school. His family came from Vietnam and he was just in school in LA. And they said, hey, there's a movie. He auditions and boom, Indiana Jones, The Temple of Doom. And then later on, he gets into Goonies. He has this nice little run. And then the story gets more dramatic there. David?
It's very complicated. It's more of a story of a hard luck story, the way that happens in Hollywood. But this one has a happy ending, and it doesn't always happen that way. But it's a guy that's really persevered and tried and hung in there, and had good people around him, and really zero ego, lots of talent, and just a good dude to talk to. And he has very inspiring to hear him talk about literally anything.
Yes, and this episode will get into romance and the support of a spouse. It's pretty moving, and it's just about as nice a person that's ever been on our shows.
He's got a new movie called Love Hurts.
Love Hurts is out in theaters, actually.
He was in Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which was Academy Award bait, and I think he won.
We'll let them find out. I think.
Yeah, we'll let them
listen
find
to
out.
this as you drive, garden, go to the gym,
that?
or if you're doing the dishes. Thank you.
Anyway, here he is. What a great dude, and hope you have a nice listen. We sure had a nice time talking to him.
First of all, I gotta geek out a little bit. I cannot believe I'm talking to both of you. I've been a massive fan of both of your work. In fact, talking to you right now, it's very intimidating because you guys are so funny. You guys are so funny. I wish my Goonies brother, Jeff Cohen, aka Chunk, is here with me because he's very funny.
You know, it's funny. First of all, thank you very much for that. And you don't have to be funny. You don't have to be anything here. We just like
you don't have to be anything. Mistakes are good. Over talking is one of our skill sets. Notice I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
If you get on a roll, we will stop you. So don't even put any. There's no pressure for you to do it.
But you know, Dana, I didn't see Goonies when it came out. This is so crazy. And the other night it was on, and I'm like, oh, this is Goonies that literally every person in the world has seen. And so I started watching it, and they're in some underwater cave. There's some cave, and they're trying to dig out of the mud. Is that Goonies? That's it, right?
There's a cave.
Yeah. And how old were you when you saw it? If you didn't see it as a kid.
I'm old now. I'm 104, but when I saw it, it was 1 week ago.
I was old in the 80s, so I saw it old. I was old then, but I saw it. It was great.
And did you like it? Because it's one of those movies where like you watch it as a kid and you grow up with it, and then you ended up like that being your favorite movie. But I wonder like what's it like to watch it as an adult?
It's fun because it's nostalgic the way I used to like movies. So it just threw me back to being that age going, this is exactly what I would like. This is like a fun, and all the kids are acting goofy and people are after them. And it just, how I missed it, I don't know, but I just thought, this is why everyone likes it. You can tell in 5 minutes of watching it that it's got a good vibe.
I think it's had resonance, with Stranger Things, and it's an important movie. It's part of that zeitgeisty, and I think it was mimicked a lot, But it's just fun. Kids on an adventure, caves, bad guys. I mean, it's just fun movie.
Yeah, it's the greatest story of all time for a kid. I mean, to find a treasure map and go on this like incredible adventures with your friends where you go down water slides and you step on booby traps and you come upon this like, full size pirate ship. It was just it was an incredible experience for me and for all the Goonies.
And you're with your buddy. I mean, it just shows kids together, and that's your dream. Like, do something fun, and you're with your friends, and Steven Spielberg's the boss.
Yeah, he's the head Goonie, and of course, Dick Donner did an incredible job allowing us to be kids. If you watch that movie, we were constantly just talking over one another, and back then you don't do that.
Sure.
You're trained to like wait until the other actor finished talking before you say your line. But from day one, we were all hams. We could not wait to say our lines, and of course it drove the sound guy crazy. But Dick Donner was laughing the entire time behind the monitors because that's what kids are. That's what they do.
Yeah, he had a moving master shot then a lot of the time with you guys, I assume. If you're all overlapping,
we did master shots, we did coverage, we did the whole thing, and Dick loves to shoot with multiple cameras. For example, when we did the pirate ship, the very first time we saw the pirate ship was captured on camera. You might have heard this story before, but when they were building the ship on stage 16 on the Warner Brothers lot, Spielberg and Donner placed a security camera right by the door, and they closed that giant gate so nobody could see what was happening inside. Mm-hmm. Built the ship, and when it was ready to film it, they blindfolded us, and we were walking backwards, being escorted by the crew. And Dick had 7 cameras pointing at us. And we got underwater, we hear action, we pop up and turned around. And what you see in the movie is the very first time that we saw the pirate ship. And it was incredible. It was an amazing sight.
So smart.
God, I think better of Richard Donner than I always did. It's to not only land Superman, the last great Superman, although there's one coming out, brilliant movie with Brando and Christopher Reeves and everything. So then he altered his shooting style to accommodate kids. And so that's probably a big reason why it just pops. It's not stilted. It flows. I'm fascinated. I never
Lethal
heard
Weapon
that.
too. He's on. And The Omen?
Yeah, The Omen, Lethal Weapon, Scrooge with Bill Murray.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, he's such a versatile filmmaker.
Yeah, wow, I auditioned for him once. I don't know if you ever had auditions where you didn't get the part, but I auditioned for Richard Donner for some movie in the early 80s. And I had no experience. We were supposed to pretend we were crawling in a cave or something. Maybe it was, and I was so
Maybe it was
bad.
Goonies.
You do the audition, and they're like, "Well, okay, that's good. You want me to do anything else?" No, we're good, thank you.
What about the other 5 scenes? Nope, we're going to do one today. That's it. We got a good feel for you.
You had Spielberg, and then you had Richard Donner. That's a pretty good start.
Yeah, I saw that. I'll tell you the story about Dick Donner. You'll love. I did Goonies with him, and this was many years later, maybe in 1990. Most of the time, I was just an unemployed actor, and there was this role that came in. It was a role for an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Mm. Oh yeah,
it was a show that he produced.
HBO,
but he didn't direct. It was HBO.
Yeah.
And this was maybe a year and a half I haven't worked, and my agent called me and says, "Hey, there's this role, Tales from the Crypt. It's you're one of the guys. It's very Goonies-esque, but in the horror genre." And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to go on an audition." So I auditioned for the producer. He wasn't there. He didn't know about it. Mm. I auditioned for the producer and the director at that time. And when he found out that I went in and auditioned, he told him, he says, "Give him the part. Give him the part. It doesn't matter whether he's right or not. Just give it to him."
What a sweetheart.
Very, very sweet. And then sure enough, a week later, my agent told me I got the role, and it had everything to do with Donner. Yeah. That's how nice he is.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have a good experience too.
You get the Spielberg film. Did you have any experience, or is it completely let's try out for a movie, or had you done something before Indiana Jones?
No, nothing. I was, this was 1983. I just immigrated to the United States. 4 years. I can barely speak English. I was busy being a kid, trying to acclimate, into my new life. I was living in Chinatown, Los Angeles at that time. It was just a very small Chinese community. And I was busy going to school and living out my new life. And one day, the casting director and his associate came to my elementary school. And they were just
how great.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were just interviewing all the kids that the casting director thought might be right for the role of Short Round. I knew nothing about it. I didn't even want, I mean, being an actor was the last thing I ever wanted. I was busy doing homework and learning English.
Sure.
And I don't know what I did then. My brother went to audition. I tagged along, and literally the very next day, I got a call from Spielberg's office. And she said, we would like you to come in and meet with Steven and George. I didn't know who they were. I didn't have a car back then.
Who are those creeps?
The entire family, we didn't have a car. We live in Chinatown, and we can get by just walking to everywhere.
Sure.
And when they heard that I couldn't, go to their office, they said, "Don't worry, we're going to send you a driver."
A driver, hilarious.
You're 13, and the day before you were just in class.
Yeah.
You're nervous. Am I short enough? Am I round enough?
Yeah, and that's how it all started. It was crazy, but it was the best thing that has ever happened.
Oh my gosh, that was such a huge movie too.
Can I just ask you a question? So when you're in the classroom, they go, "Okay, read for a movie." Are you holding a script, or are they just feeding you stuff and seeing your personality? I'm just curious. How did that first reading go?
Well, they had a setup in the gym.
Okay, with cameras.
And so all of the kids were just sitting and waiting for their name to be called. And when I went into this little room where they had a camera set up, and the person to read with us, there was sites. They gave us sites, and I can barely understand any of it. I didn't know what Indie means. I didn't even know Indie is a name or a person.
Yeah, of course.
This was a sequel to one of the biggest movies
you just
of all
thought it was
time.
a state, Indiana.
Yeah.
And then and of course I fumbled. I was bad at it. I didn't know what I was saying, but luckily the casting director saw something and asked me to put the sides away and said, "Key, I just want to talk to you for a few minutes."
Yeah.
And
that's more like it, to see what you're like.
Yeah, to see what I was like. Ask me how old I was, how how I got to the States, and what's my family like, what's my favorite subject, and so I answered everything. Little did I know, years later, the casting director told me that the minute I walked out the door, he called Steven Spielberg and says, "We don't have to look anymore. We found your kid." And that was pretty amazing.
Wow. Can I say? I'm just curious. So, I don't know what economic strata your family was at this point. What did they pay you for this movie, and did it change the dynamic, or what was that like? Did you just get union scale?
Any scale is huge for someone who doesn't have money, right?
Dana, that's a great question. We were broke. We were my parents. My parents literally gave everything they had to get all of us, the entire family. My family is a total of 11 people. My parents had 9 kids, so they gave up everything they had to get all of us here in the United States. So by the time we got here, they lost everything and they were heavily in debt. And here comes this movie. I didn't have an agent. I was not a member of Screen Actors Guild. I didn't have a lawyer to look after me. So whatever they gave me, whatever contract agreement they gave me to sign, we just signed it.
Of course, yeah.
And it was not until later, I was paid a very generous salary. But what was even more incredible was that they made me a profit participant.
What?
No.
Now, without asking, without lawyers protecting me, without agents asking, it's never, never. You never get profit participant unless you really fight for it. And this is why I'm so grateful to them, because knowing that Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is going to be the biggest movie in 1984, and yet they're still so generous and still so willing to make me a profit participant. And when the movie came out, sure enough, that very first check that came in was big enough where I didn't have to, our parents didn't have to rent a tiny homes for all of us. I was able to afford to buy a bigger house for all of us to live in. And
Wow.
Sure enough, not only it changed my life, but it changed all of my family's life.
Unreal.
So, I mean, this is sort of inside baseball, but that you get sometimes you'll get net points on a movie, they call it, but the movie says we've never made a profit. But
no matter how big,
it's Spielberg, it's Indiana Jones at its peak. So I assume that, you got actual checks and they kept coming.
I got checks. I get statements sent to me every quarter. And what is it? 40 years later. 40 years later.
Oh, wow.
I'm still getting a nice
mailbox money
checks
wow.
Every year. I mean, it really, it's just it's so incredible to think back then. I was just a 12-year-old kid.
My God, you would have done it for a new baseball mitt. Like I would do it. My first jobs when I was 20, I would do it for. You don't even ask. You don't want to get fired. You're like, what are you paying me? I don't even ask. Just please. The thing I thought you were heading towards was not only do you get, let's say you get scale. Let's say you do something and it's, like back then
$1,500,
$1,500 a week,
$800
fine.
Yeah.
But the trick is you get residuals. So if you don't know that, and you start, I remember I did an old Police Academy movie. Oh, a couple of people remember. Thank you. And
I remember, David. I love that movie. I love that movie. I love Police Academy movies.
So that was my first one. I played a skateboarder, and then I did it, and I got obviously enough money for me. I loved it, whatever it was. And then 6 months later, I was driving from LA to Arizona. And I went to the little skinny mailbox with the key, and you open it up at your apartments, and check for like $2,800 out of nowhere. And it was because it got sold to HBO, or it was a residual. And I was like, wait, you get money after? I could not believe it. And then I kept getting little jibs and dabs. And then you do a sitcom, and then you get a check. And I'm like, that's where actors kind of stay alive. So you got that and profit participation. So what a that's the real treasure movie.
I gotta say, I mean, after Goonies, I've been very open about this. During those times when I couldn't get a job, when I couldn't get work as an actor, and I was just struggling, I was either in school or those checks were huge. They were, they were really, when that check came in, I mean, it was such a big help economically.
And I'm sure you don't sound like you live like a crazy life. Like if you're living like most people, just trying to live a normal life and just get by, those checks really help cover almost everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need a lot because you're not spending a lot. So it's great to get that, keep you afloat. I love it.
Back in the day, just for a sec, because I came from not as big a family. There are 5 of us and stuff. And I just wondered if the dynamic of what happened to you, were you starting to get recognized, or did your mom and dad say, okay, you can get a new bicycle? Was there anything, or it just went to them and everything went on as usual? Or was there any change in the dynamic with your siblings that you're a star? It's like...
My parents are very strict, the very traditional Chinese value parents. And everybody treated me like I was not a star, not an actor.
Good.
So I think because of that, because of my upbringing, I was very grounded. And I never allowed my fame to get to my head. But of course, that time, I mean, those were big movies. So wherever I go out, people will recognize me.
Oh my God.
People will come up for pictures, for autographs. And my siblings would just, smile and be proud. They're very proud of me.
Yeah. That's so healthy.
That's so nice.
That's so great to hear.
Horrible people.
And the thing is, there's no jealousy because they don't want to be actors. They're very, they all of them want to be in business. They're very business savvy, kind of like taking after my parents. My dad was a successful businessman.
Yeah.
And that's why you moved out here. No one came to act, right? You didn't come out to LA to act.
Yeah. None of us wanted to be actors.
Yeah, it's just a happy accident.
Yeah. So that's why I feel like I'm adopted in some way. I'm so different from my siblings.
Where is the premiere? I'm guessing it was at the Chinese Theater because it's such a big place for a premiere.
You know what's incredible?
Or West
or the Dome.
Okay. So 40 years ago, we premiered Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom at the Man Chinese Theater.
Yeah.
All right.
And it was also on the same day that I witnessed Steven Spielberg and George Lucas got their very own hand and footprint ceremony. So I was a kid. I was just blown away. I go, wow, what is this? Like, they must be really special to have their
still don't
permanent mark, in this theater.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Come February 3rd, I'm gonna be honored with my very own hand and footprint ceremony.
What?
At Man Chinese Theater, and we're gonna be premiering Love Hurts at the same play.
Oh,
so it's such a full circle moment. It's so surreal. I cannot believe it.
That is, for people who don't know about Hollywood and having your handprints and footprints.
That's better than a star, I think.
It's for my age group. I mean, it's Cary Grant, it's John Wayne. I mean, it's the greatest stars in the world. So, and now here you are. We're kind of going along with your resume here, but yeah, you do have a new movie coming out that you star in. And I watched the trailer. It's out February 7th. Love Hurts. And it looks just great. It's the kind of movie I love. And in the trailer, I noticed, because I know that if you had a stunt double, maybe you did or not, but you're really moving well. And I love the notion of a movie of a reluctant hero. It's not like you're Steven Seagal or something. Please don't make me do my thing. And then here it is without giving it away. That conceit is so much fun. But just for a second, did you study Taekwondo? Did you do all your own stunts or what was that like being that physical again now that you're not 13 anymore? But you look great.
I did study Taekwondo. In fact, it was right after Temple of Doom. I was trained in Temple of Doom for a week to do that fights. He did a fight at the end of the movie, and I fell in love with it. And I came back to the States, and my brother and I enrolled ourselves in Taekwondo classes. And I studied for many years. I got a black belt. And during that entire time, I really love watching those Hong Kong 80s action movies with Jackie Chan.
That's what it reminded me of. The movements.
Yes. And those movies, you can clearly see that it's the actors doing all the fights up on the screen. There's just something real and there's something at stake that when you know that it's them and it's not just some stunt double.
Yeah. So much easier to shoot too.
And so for this movie, Love Hurts, I want to distinguish between stunts and fights. Stunts, I don't do stunts. That is a very specific skill that these stunt guys trained heavily for. And to me, stunts is falling off buildings, getting hit by a car, or being set on fire. Those are very dangerous stuff. And
All
they
at once.
put their lives on the line to make us look good. What I can do well are fights. And fights involve like punches and kicks, falling off to the ground, selling a hit. It's not easy to sell a hit. It's much harder than it looks.
And you probably get hit a lot.
Huh?
You probably get hit a lot because it's so hard to get it perfectly right because you want it so close that it looks real, but I'm sure sometimes there's mistakes.
Yeah, it's scary to sell a hit, and also you have to snap your head back.
That's hard for your neck.
Over and over again.
Over and over again, and then your body has to like be in it. I remember the first fight we did with Marshawn Lynch, and he's a big guy.
Marshawn Lynch,
And the scene starts with him and Andre, the other actor. They're both killers. They come in and they take me and they just beat the shit out of me.
I saw
in the beginning, like For the first like half a day, all I did was just reacting to punches, left and right, up and down.
Shit.
I woke up the next day, I can barely move my neck.
Of course.
Whoa.
And I had to ask production to get me a physical therapist. But it's a lot of work. It's really demanding. But once when you said put together, it's also extremely satisfying.
Yeah.
Did I read that you, in some of the slower times between jobs, you were teaching fights, or is that crazy? You were.
I was choreographing.
Yeah.
I worked on a movie with Hugh Jackman called The X-Men.
Love it.
And a Hong Kong director named Koi Yuan kind of took me under his wings when I graduated from film school. And all those skills that I acquired from martial arts, when I was young, I was so excited because I thought I would be able to use those in movies. I thought, Hollywood would hire me to be the next action hero. But that didn't happen, and I had to put my skills away for many years, never thinking that I would have to call upon them again. So it's been such a surreal feeling for me to be able to do Love Hurts, and especially to be the number one on the call sheet for this movie.
That is a big deal.
It's fascinating, your story. I don't know if anyone quite has your story, and getting the Oscar in 2022 and now becoming an action hero. The arc of this is so fascinating. And just for a second, mentally for you, I know you kept busy and got your residual checks, but those 19 years wondering when it would happen again for you, how did you manage that? And was it difficult at times? Did you ever feel discouraged, or did you sort of anticipate somewhere in your subconscious, like, it's coming for me? Because now you're headlining an action film. It looks incredible, and you've got the Best Supporting Actor Oscar. It's just such a story. How do you process this?
I wish I can say it was easy. I went through a range of emotions.
Okay.
I was frustrated. I was confused. I was sad. I was despondent. I was miserable. And of course, as the years went by, any hope of like this happening just grows dimmer and dimmer.
Goes away. Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I don't think I would be here without my wife. She is my lucky charm. She is my everything. She's the one, for some reason, believed in me and saw all of this.
Really?
She saw all of this happening. And we're talking about starting 20 years ago. We've been together 22 years now. So for 22 years, she kept saying, you're going to be successful again one day. And in the beginning, it was really, inspiring. It was really uplifting. I'm with this girl that I love, and she believes that I'm going to be somebody one day. And she has such a great eye. Over the years, every time she tells me that this person is going to be successful, it happens. But at the same time, it was frustrating for me, is because she believed in me more than anybody. And yet it wasn't happening for me. It was happening for other people. That she pointed out.
Gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
That's
like it's such a long, yeah.
It was hard. It was hard. And I felt like, man, if one day I don't, if this doesn't happen, I'm going to disappoint her. She's not going to love me anymore. She's going to leave me. She's going to say, oh my gosh, I placed a bet on the wrong guy. I mean, of course, she's not that kind of person, but that's what was going through my head for a long time. And I was just scared. I was really scared.
God, that's so fascinating. Here's the one word that it seems like, just talking to you now, not something that's in your personality, but is very common in show business. And I met a lot of people with bitterness. I got screwed. The business let me down. It's not my fault. And you didn't use that word a minute ago. You used despondent, discouraged, embarrassed, but not bitter. And I think because if you get bitter, you really lessen your chances of getting lucky, because no one likes an ungrateful, bitter person. You have to really guard for that. So
Did you ever feel those emotions, but or you just stay kind of humble in a way?
It's how I was taught and how I grew up. I never once, believe it or not, never once did I feel bitter, and never once did I blame anybody but myself. I didn't blame the system. I didn't blame, there was just not enough roles for Asians to go around. I didn't think any of that. I just felt that, oh, maybe I was too short. Maybe I wasn't a good enough actor. That's why I didn't get those role. The role went to a better actor than me. Here's the thing. I always talk about the difference between envy and jealousy, and tell me if you guys agree with this. Like when I see somebody doing really well up on screen or have tremendous talent, I always go, oh wow, I wish I have that. So I envy them for having that talent or that success, but I'm never jealous of them. And I think jealousy brings you down versus envy encourages you to keep going and to not give up hope. I never felt bitter.
I always, from day one, and it's still my touchstone, my dream was to make as much doing stand-up in these little clubs as I made as a waiter. So my goal was really back then when I got to making an average of maybe $600 a month. Okay, I could took off the waiter's apron, and I felt gratitude ever since. I always go back to that because it's not promised for anyone. It's I call it can be an emotionally violent career as opposed to being a grade school teacher or whatever that's more consistent. But I think that's why when Everything Everywhere All at Once came up, you were just ready because you did not. And that's just a great lesson for anyone listening to this who's an aspiring actor. Never go to that jealousy or bitterness. It'll just eat you alive and make you take your talent away, really. So
it's hard, though.
Yeah.
It's hard not to
sometimes. Human.
It's hard to place. You don't know where to place the blame or what's going on. And you're like, I'm a good person. Yeah. Everyone, I think, has gone through that.
Yeah, it's not easy. That's why, like, during those times, you really need somebody who believes in you.
Mm-hmm.
I was very lucky I had my wife. God knows if I wasn't with her, where would I be today? I don't even know if I would have the courage to continue. So that's why it's important to have, friends who believe in you, family. I have a great family. They've been so supportive. And also, over the years too, they tried to get me to give up and go to Houston and do business with them.
Oh, get a real job.
It's
Come on.
time to get out here.
Can I ask you just
a little bit?
You could be a realtor.
I saw you in the movie.
Your relationship with your wife is one of the most also romantic things I've heard. And that is a movie in itself. Just for a second, was it love at first sight, or how did you meet, or what was the early courtship, and when did you know this is the one for me? Was it pretty much thunderstruck, or just talk to that a little bit, if you would? Because it's fascinating.
So we used to work for a Hong Kong filmmaker named Wong Kar-wai. And she was in Shanghai at that time, and Wong Kar-wai flew me there to work on a few projects. And we met. And from day one, we have endless conversation. We never stop talking. We enjoy each other's company. We spent every day, every minute, every hour together during my time in Shanghai. And then when I had to come back to the States, and we were separated, all I could think of was her. And we didn't have much money at that time. And it was at a time, this is 2002. So she couldn't get a visa to come to the States to visit me. I can only fly back to see her. And we would talk on the phone all the time. We would try to be in touch, and I would fly back whenever it was possible. But it was during those times away that I go, God, I don't think I can live without her. And 2 years into our dating, into our relationship, I proposed.
The amount of it, whatever our female audience is right now, there's a collective thousands of women saying, "Aw."
Yeah.
It's just such a great story. I guess as we go forward here, I want to unpack this movie because I think that's what's currently right in front of you. And just how did that come about? Did they, what was the phone call like? And what did it mean at that moment? Did your wife pick up the phone? I'll get him just a moment.
It was right during the award season, right before the Oscars. I think the Oscar nomination came out, and then my agent called me and says, "There's a script that came in for you. They would like to offer you the lead. Can you read it?"
Offer the lead. Wow,
was
that's
offered the
such
lead.
After 19
great
years.
Sentence.
After 19 years, it was the first time I've heard it. It was the first time I heard it.
Those words.
Those words, offer you the lead. It's from 87 North, from David Leitch and Kelly McCormick. Now, David Leitch is a big director, big producer. So is Kelly. So I read it right away. And as I was reading it, I loved it, but then I was like kind of confused because I just don't see myself in this role. I see, actors like, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Jason
Wahlberg.
Statham, pretty much all your typical action heroes except me. I just didn't see it. And so I called my agent the next day. I said, "It's a great script, but I think they got the wrong person. So let's just pass," very quickly without thinking much about it. And then I was busy doing, interviews and attending award season. And then it was after I won the Oscar, they came back the second time and they said, "Can you please reconsider?" And at that time, I was mentally exhausted. I was just like, I had just gone through this 6 month of award season. I was mentally exhausted, but I did remember the script and I said, it's a great script, but then it's still a pass for me.
What? Oh,
what?
After the second time.
Come on.
And it was at a time where like what was incredible was like people were calling and I was getting off. And then all of a sudden I got really scared. One, because I've never been in a situation where people offer me roles without any audition. And second, there has been so much love and support that I was so afraid that whatever I was going to do next, I was going to disappoint them. And that was the last thing I wanted to do. And I was at an event with Steven Spielberg, and we were chatting, and he says, "Key, how are you doing?" And I said, "I'm not doing so good, Steven." He says, "Why?" And I said, "Well, I'm having trouble deciding what to do next because, of the success of Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm really nervous." And he says, "Okay, don't worry about it. Let's grab lunch when we get back to LA." And we did. And it was during lunch that I pitched him the story. And I said, "This is Universal Studios picture. It's theatrical release." And I told him the story and I told him my reservation. And he stopped him. He says, "Key, let me tell you, it's great. You should do it." And I go, "Huh?" He says, "Don't think much. Just do it. It's going to turn out great and you're going to love it. And it's going to put you in the leading man category." And again, he also gave me a lot of advice too. Like, if you believe in it yourself, if you do it with all your heart and passion, the audience will appreciate you for it, whether they like the movie or not. Left that lunch and asked my agent to set up a meeting. And I went in, I met with the entire producing team. And also our director, Jojo Eusebio, who is a veteran with action. And it was at that time I realized, wow, all these years I've been conditioned that guys that look like me, cannot be an action hero. And they were also trying to do something different. They were trying to change the status quo and to create a new kind of action hero. And immediately I fell in love with it. And I said, yes, right away, got myself trained. And I got to say, it was one of the best decisions I've made in my life.
Well, when you see the playbacks, I don't know, online or when you first started to see it work, because in the trailer, you can really see that you totally believe your character just has this skill set, and I think the one that seems a little bit familiar in the abstract is Bob Odenkirk doing Nobody. He was very, very surprised that he was tapped to be an action star, but it makes sense to me. I think it is kind of cool that you're not really built up and stuff, but you just have speed and coordination or
agility
and smarts with how to win a street fight in a kitchen or whatever with anything at your disposal, you know. So.
Yeah, and I love watching movies where, you know, there is that element of surprise. You know, like if you go watch a movie and The Rock beats up 10 guys, and yeah, of course, I mean that's huge, you know. But there's something special about watching someone like me, or you know, or you. Like, you know, I've seen both of your work, you know, where you kick ass and go, wow, that's it's so nice to see that something different.
Yeah,
and you know, it's that element of surprise that
also
really,
that you can literally do it. I mean, it's very lucky that you get a guy that you can play it and you can act. And they're like, the benefit is also you don't need to be covered in stunts on every single fight. They're like, this guy can do a lot of it. And that's such a benefit. Helps the movie, helps everybody.
And did they know? Did they know you had a black belt in Taekwondo? They must have looked that up, right?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They knew exactly what I was capable of.
Okay.
And even going in, I did tell them, and I said, if I'm going to do this, can you let me do all the fights myself? And they said yes. But of course, that was a big statement for me because I was great when I was 21 years old in my life. And nobody wants to put me in an action movie. And now, you know, I'm 54. So I did, you know, I trained with the guys. We had the best action team. We trained for 3 months getting myself ready. And, you know, and it's everything that I know about making action movie, I put into this. It's not easy. And you get hurt. You know, Jackie Chan, when he does those action movies, he gets hurt all the time. Mm-hmm. And in order for a fight to look real, you can't fake it. You have to, the way I know it is, you know, you really have to go at it. And I went at it with Daniel Wu in the finale. I went at it with Marshawn Lynch. And it was really tough. And every single day I would go back to my apartment and I would soak myself in salt bath, you know, in a salt bath.
Peanut butter.
For an hour. I was bruised everywhere. And halfway through the movie, I told my wife, I said, you know, I don't think I can do another one. This is it. And then we saw the movie and I called my agent. I said, come on, let's get another one. I can't wait to do it again.
Of course. Well, it's like surgery once it's over.
Did you ever get so excited in a fight scene that you kind of did some damage and then found yourself saying, take that, bitch? Like yelling at the actor? Did you ever lose it?
To Marshawn?
No. I never get joy from hurting people.
Okay, I'm kidding. But yeah.
Dana does.
I always make sure, and sometimes accidents do happen. And every time I hit somebody accidentally, my heart just drops. But we have a lot of tough guys. Our stunt guys are really tough.
Sure.
You know, I can kick him all I want. I don't think I would do much damage. They're built for it.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a compliment, Kay, real quick.
Here we go. He never gives compliments.
Never.
Oh, wow. The David, I'm so excited. Okay, I can't wait to hear it.
I'm watching your trailer this morning for Love Hurts, which comes out in theaters, right?
February 7th. Theaters. Yeah.
So I stop it about a third of the way through and I like it. I go, I don't want to know anymore because I want to go see it. I want to just go watch it happen. I don't want to guess ahead. Right when I'm hooked in, I go, okay. It's right when you're doing their cookies and then Marshawn comes in and I go, okay, I like it. Stop. Because I don't want to know one extra interesting thing. I just want to go see it all.
Oh, wow, David. Thank you. I'm so touched. Thank you so much for that.
But that's a good trailer. That shows you. It's like, that's a fun movie.
I watched the whole trailer. It's not a competition, David. I watched the whole thing and I clicked it and I said, that movie is going to do great. Yeah. That was my blink on it. And I'm just saying it, and we don't say it to everyone on here promoting the movie, but that is just going to be one of those movies you want to see.
Yeah.
You know?
That's not your typical
in
movie.
The theater.
Oh, yeah. David, Dana, you just made my month. Getting that compliment from both of you means the world to me. And knowing that you guys are going to go watch it in the theater is even more incredible. Thank you.
Well, after it hits 100 million, just pop. We have another podcast called Superfly. You could pop in for 5 minutes
Yes.
I'll tell you.
With your wife, we'll say, has he gotten cocky finally?
I'm going to beat Dana.
Has
I'm going to
Keith-
say I only saw 4 seconds of the trailer. I'm going backwards now. I only saw 2 seconds of the trailer, and I can name that hit in 2 seconds. No, I just like the vibe of it. I like you. I think people are coming off of the last one saying interesting, and it's a fun story, and you're very sweet, charming, humble guy, and just like, hey, it's not The Rock. And a lot of those, most of those movies are The Rock. And
I love John Wick, and I love a lot this genre, but this is new, and it felt new. It just has
I grew up watching movies in the 80s where, they're like 90 minutes long, and you go in and you just enjoy it, and it kind of takes your, lets you escape reality for a little bit. You come out of it feeling a little bit refreshed. So this movie was made for that. One was made for, the audience who love the action genre. And it's kind of an homage to those Hong Kong 80s action movie. And hopefully, people can just go on a date or with their friends and just have a really good time.
Yes. And the job of that film is somewhere in the third act to make you suspend disbelief that maybe the hero won't make it. Maybe he's going to lose this time. And that's the fun of how that's written and how that's made. That's just the fun of the genre, what you don't see coming, and how he wins the day. If he wins the day,
if he wins the day, we don't know. And I like any excuse to go to the movies again, because I don't go enough, and you need one to go, oh, let me get out there again. I want to go see a movie out in the real world.
You don't have to think. You just sit there and enjoy the ride. Those are just really, really fun movies. The one thing I just wanted to mention was your Oscar acceptance speech, just that it's kind of gone up there in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if you probably answered every question about it, and we kind of know you now a little bit and what it meant, of course. But it really stood out that night in the Oscars. It's like, wow, he's back.
Yeah. It was one of the most memorable nights of my life. I didn't, it was a night. It was a moment that I dreamt about. I fantasized about for 40 years. Didn't would ever happen. I remember when Ariana DeBose and Troy Kutzer walked out with the envelope, and I'm in my seat, and it feels like you're not breathing. You're just holding your breath. And I felt like I was holding my breath for, not for that night, but for the entire 6 months since the award season started.
For 40 years,
for 40 years, and you really don't know until they open the envelope. And when she opened the envelope and announced my name with so much emotion, I heard it and I couldn't believe it. I wanted to, it's one of those where, wait, did she say my name? Did she say my name? Is this real? And once when I realized that this was reality, I fought really hard to fight back the emotions. It felt like all those emotions that I had building up in the last 20 years, stepping away and just hoping that someone would give me a chance, just came flooding out.
Wow, I hear the emotion in your voice. I just wondered, because it's success and things like this, in terms of your relationship with your wife after you won the Oscar, was she sort of more wanting to be more frisky with you, more affectionate? Was she draped all over you? I'm just kidding. she's making love with an Oscar winner. It's got to be different.
What?
Just kidding.
He goes,
just kidding. But, you already had it.
I remember I woke up the next day thinking this was all a dream. I woke up next to her, and we looked at each other for a long beat. It was the morning after, and I'm thinking, wait, was that all a dream? I looked at her, and I said, honey, did yesterday happen? And she smiled and she says, honey, you are an Oscar-winning actor.
And was she holding the Oscar in her arms? We did it.
Honey, do we leave the Oscar in and out? Well, thank you for coming on, bud. What a great story, top to bottom.
Really
very interesting
enjoyed
guy.
having you. Yeah.
David, Dana, thank you so much. I love you guys. I mean, seriously, I love you guys. And this has been such a wonderful chat. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
I look forward to the movie. And
yes, please watch it. And to all your listeners, please do watch it and support our movie in the theaters. It would mean the world to me. So.
Love hurts, love hurts, love hurts, love hurts. February 7th, February 7th.
All right. See you, buddy. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Take care. Enjoy.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all this stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman. So Keegan-Michael Key this week with his wife, Elle Key. They've both done a lot in this business we call show. Keegan is very fun guy to talk to, funny guy to listen to. I see him in a lot of clips out there. He's on so many things, commercials. And he and his wife put together a comedy book about sketches, the history of sketch comedy.
Yes. And so we deep dive into that. It was very, very interesting. And Keegan and Elle have a very close creative relationship. It's a nice thing to see. And he's in Schmigadoon. Schmigadoon is still out there. And,
and I see him on so many things and some football commercials now. But he's always working, he's very into character and sketches. And in this book, he dresses like characters in the past. I think Charlie Chaplin all the way up. I think Wayne's World,
He analyzed your bye-bye sketch, the flight attendant
did
sketch.
He? Oh, yeah.
He did. Yeah, we won't tell you what he said. I'm not sure, but it was an interesting idea of a book to analyze the history of sketch comedy. Sketch comedy doesn't get awards. No one thinks about sketch comedy as an artistic endeavor.
The first iteration of the bye-bye sketch that didn't work as well was everyone was getting on the plane and we were like, hello. It just wasn't as funny.
I remember when Lorne Michaels, it was just a word thing. He didn't like. I don't think we should really be calling it a skit.
He hates the word skit.
Yeah, it's a skit. It's a sketch.
Yeah, for some reason. Skit. Have you ever seen people that say, this guy's shtick is that he acts in a lot of crazy characters? I go, you mean shtick? I don't even know what shtick means, but I know it's not stick.
Yeah.
Like a stick?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's listen. We had a lot of fun with them, as we always do. So
a lot of laughs. Enjoy the episode. Thanks for listening, fans.
Fans?
I don't know.
People are like, that's a strong word.
Wait, have we started? Wait, what?
Oh, we've been on for 20 minutes.
We sort of just roll into it, but we take out the fat and it winds up being about 6 minutes.
We don't take anything out, but you can call us right after this and edit anything you want. So say anything you want and we will cut that fucking thing out, man. You could
like syllables in a name.
Yeah. So I met you two as a couple at the Oscars, right?
Yes, with with Mr. Myers.
With Mike Myers, yeah. That was exciting.
Yeah, I texted him this morning and I let him know that this is what we were doing today. And he just said, Dana is a doll. Dana is brilliant. Dana. By the way, do you know that you are Dana?
I know Dana.
Yeah, she corrects him. She's like, no, he keeps complimenting.
No,
Dana.
I'm protesting, and also, nice,
Right.
Wait for the next text. It'll be all about me. Just give it a second.
He adores you both. I'll text him now. Do you know, Dana, that you are on the cover of our book?
Yes, I saw it, and I called. I'm not a big lawsuit guy. I looked I checked in.
I am.
And you know what? It's my gift to you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I even told him this morning, I said, do you know this? And he said, oh yeah, I love it.
That is the most insanely flattering. It's for people who just joined us. We're live. Elle and Keegan wrote a book about the history of sketch comedy and have a podcast. And on the cover of it, Keegan is doing all these, you're dressed as all these famous archetypal characters through the history. And there you are with Garth. So I was absolutely flattered. So I'll absolutely.
We did actually call Mike we called Mike for permission. We didn't call you, sorry. But we did call Mike, and I said, I want to do Wayne or Garth from Wayne's World because it's so iconic. And he said, oh, you should definitely do Dana. Do Dana.
Oh, now that is silly because I always knew no matter what, it's called Wayne's World. It's not Garth's World. I'm the guy next to the guy, so, but that's very generous. We're, when you get older, you get wisdom, you put your weapons down, you get very nostalgic, you tear up a lot. You'll see. You're too young.
You poop your pants.
Well, there's a bunch of images I can send to you later that ended up not getting used.
She's showing us on her phone.
Garth
is
like
a funny look. Garth is funny, Dana. That's a good look.
Garth does have that funny. There is something always going on with the mouth. There's always that, there's that right Wayne.
Yeah.
It's totally like that like curled lip thing, which is always what was the money of the character to me.
And then dropping the rhythm, you're like, yeah, I had a good time. So he doesn't quite say time,
Yeah,
I
had a good time.
And then all his tension is in his jaw. I'm not really a method actor, but everything is just there.
God.
Everything's there. You guys are, looking at your resumes, everything you've done. And now the history of sketch comedy. What gave you the reason to write that? It's very interesting. I was listening to the Audible one last night. And it's really fun and interesting as you go along and get into vaudeville and stuff and all how it all came together. I don't know. Do you want to start there? We can go anywhere.
Let's start there.
So a couple of years ago, someone had asked Keegan about writing a book. Would you ever consider writing a book? And Keegan and I had this conversation. He's like, God, we know it's not easy to write a book. It's a whole process. And I was like, well, he married a writer director. So I was like, well, I'll help write the book. And he's like, I'm not really interested in writing a book. So I just said, well, you know what? I'm going to just interview you for the next 7 years and to collect stories and information. And I wrote and directed for a sketch comedy show in college, and I worked off Broadway and have been doing things for years. And when we got together, I started writing for him. And I said, I really think there's a fun way of you being kind of the tour guide or like the host into all of these things. And you're so accessible and he's so easy to talk to and communicate with. I just thought it would be really fun.
Jeez, that's so cool coming from a wife.
It really is, isn't it?
That'd be more like a girlfriend. That'd be like a girlfriend, but a wife going, wow, he's pretty cool. No, you read classic sketches, you do characters. The Audible book is incredibly entertaining. I have a question right now, though. As you started this journey, you're interviewing your husband. Both of you, did you kind of, as you went along, more themes came up and more like this was the archetypal event?
He kind of stayed out of it, I feel like. Well, I would say to him things like, when did you hear about Second City? When's the first time you heard about Second City? And then he said, actually, he was reading an autobiography of John Belushi by Bob Woodward. And I was like, that's an interesting story. So I was like, okay, this is going to be in a chapter somewhere is how do you get into talking about Second City or schools of comedy? And then I asked him when the first time he heard his father laugh was, and it happened to be watching Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live. And that's the first.
He has all these good answers.
So
by the way.
I know. So I was like, this thing writes itself basically. So then that podcast the Audible series came about because when COVID started, I pitched my teams and agents this idea of I'm going to write this book on sketch comedy, and I'm writing it as a kind of a love letter to Keegan and my love of comedy. And they said, would you consider doing a podcast? And I said, sure. And then I pitched Audible this idea that if Keegan Michael Key was teaching an NYU course on sketch comedy, and it was a 10-part class, it would be a very, very crowded class, and it would be a lot of fun. And
yeah, it's funny.
Start and where would it go? And then I pitched them the idea. For those of you who don't know, there are no clips used in the entire podcast. There's not one audio.
Right. It's a tour de force, I might say.
It's all Keegan. Keegan is every voice of every character in every sketch. And I wanted to continue that with the book, which is why when I designed the cover, I pitched Audible this idea of, what if instead of Keegan performing, what if we dress Keegan up? And as a matter of fact, Lou Zakarian helped me with all the hair and makeup, who's on Saturday Night Live, does the hair and makeup. And then the original idea for the book cover was, the evolution of man, like the Cro-Magnon, Erectus Erectus.
The classic.
So when you open the book, the first thing you see is all of those characters.
I'm still in there? My God.
Damn.
Who's ahead of me? What the fuck?
They're showing Garth again.
I should be and I don't have it.
I'm biased.
It's like you're only
it is substitute. The substitute teacher is ahead. It's just only because of the time.
Well, I did look up that 213 million views on YouTube. Another tour de force as the substitute teacher on the Key and Peele show. So that was classic. What I loved about the book, when you got into naming, okay, who was the linchpin for television? How did people adapt from vaudeville to radio? I was into all that section, which I found fascinating, and how Milton Berle was kind of the first TV sketch comedy superstar. That was, I liked all that stuff. It was really cool.
I really like the variety TV. I don't know how far you got into variety.
That's
TV.
next.
So I was a huge Donnie and Marie fan. And then we started doing this deep dive of every single person we could find who was on a variety TV or had a variety
right?
TV show.
Yeah, it was nuts. If you think about the fact that Howard Cosell had a variety show
called
the Howard Cosell show.
No, and then it was Saturday Night Live, right? As well.
I think it was.
You're right. It was called Saturday Night Live. That's right. That's
and Lauren said he's not using it anymore. Whoops.
I think Saturday Night Live was called Saturday Night for a while. Then
or Saturday Night with Howard Cosell. Every musician, Glenn Campbell. I mean, it's infinite, right?
Everybody had one. Everybody had one. It was amazing, right?
Yeah. And then sometimes they're on ice skates. Right. Sometimes Donnie.
It was. When I was watching those, of course I loved them growing up. And Captain and Tennille. It seems like you have one hit song, you get 13 episodes of a variety
TV show.
Anything like everyone, they just threw them out there.
Johnny Cash had one.
The Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch
had a variety.
More.
That's right, with David Letterman and Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
we're in the
short-lived.
Sketch
very
player.
short-lived. But
yes. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I've been on a lot of short-lived stuff, but we can go into that later. But short-lived is a very polite way of saying it lived, but shortly. Wasn't a smash. But so, Elle, you put all this together. So you had to apply interviewing him and then kind of get this narrative and look up Milton Berle and kind of expand.
Yeah, and then Keegan would help me, and then we'd figure out it was a little bit of a challenge because the podcast and the book are different. There's a lot of clips from the podcast that are kind of the through line. But I also, for the book, was very fortunate enough that people like the brilliant David Spade gave me a few minutes of their time.
Yeah.
So there are little...
what did he say? Was it wise and funny?
Oh, yeah. Did I say anything good?
Yes, of course. Of course you did.
Nothing off the top of our head, but he did say a lot of interesting.
So basically, so Chronicle is the publisher, and they said, do you think you could get a couple quotes from some people in sketch comedy? And because of all of the goodwill and all of the people Keegan and I have met over the years, I ended up doing these little kind of mini interviews with about 35 people.
Yeah, give a list. It's unbelievable.
From Chris Rock, Mike Myers, David, of course, and then Carol Burnett, who I did.
Did you reach out to me and I blew you off? I don't remember being asked, but I would have done
Stonewall. No one can get near Dana.
I will never, even though I'm the second in command on the cover.
long before the cover. I think it's because I'd only met you once, and I think other people.
No, it's all right.
Maybe I had a little bit more.
But Elle, right now, live, because we're going live globally today. Not really. What would you have asked me? We can just fill it in for people.
So basically what I did was try to figure out, I kind of broke it down to 10 different sections, 10 chapters, and figure out what would make sense. So we did talk to Kevin Nealon, and there were a bunch of Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So there are some people that talk, like Kevin Nealon talks about Lorne Michaels. He also does talk a little bit about, you are in a little bit, he talks a little bit about Hans and Franz.
He talks about Hans and Franz.
Hans and Franz, that was 100% me and Kevin. We were like...
Hans and Franz is in the book. So I probably would try to figure out what subject in the book, and I would tell you what they are, that you had some kind of relationship to. So for example, you said you love the stuff about the early television.
Yeah.
So then I would ask you about something that has to do with early television, and then made a little sidebar in that chapter on your thoughts or someone else's thoughts.
On every level, I'm fascinated by the history of comedy. I am fascinated by how the hell in the early 60s with Bob Newhart and Bill Cosby and others, their comedy albums were that crackling. Because I'd sit in the dark with vinyl, and I've never heard sound like that present. I was told they'd be in little tiny clubs like the Purple Onion and put one mic overhead, or some reason they are so lively. That fascinates me, just the sound of it. But
yeah,
I have kind of a question and/or observation, because I have grumpy old men in my life who are like, music ain't no good anymore. And I go, doesn't the music just reflect what the culture's doing at the time? And so with the last 50 years of comedy, obviously it's gotten looser or whatever. What is today's sketch comedy telling us about where we are as a culture? You have 30 seconds.
Ooh. That's a good one, Dan.
I had nothing. I was spitballing. I'm talking too much.
No, that was my next question.
Key and Peele, as an observer and a fan, Key and Peele certainly came out of having an African-American president, came out of what was going on in the culture, having two mixed race hosts.
Yeah.
So maybe
I think it's true. I don't think we would have had a show if Obama hadn't become the president. And it's one of those interesting things where you look at his demographic and you look at our demographic, and it's exactly the same, coming from single parent homes, coming from interracial relationships. But I think also the other thing about Key and Peele is there's something very cinematic about the show, that a lot of the sketches tell stories. They're not like, we never did any game show sketches, which is one of my favorite things ever on Saturday Night Live, or game show sketches, but you don't see them in Key and Peele, which is interesting. You see more storytelling in the sketches, and also doing things very often that would be able to happen in real life. And the reason I think that, Dana, is because so many people get their comedy and derive their comedy nowadays from YouTube, like watching a real YouTube video of a person really. Last night, what did you show me last night? You were showing me, the fireworks thing.
Yeah.
Like a video where somebody set off some fireworks and the fireworks went awry across someone's front yard.
In the front yard, goes under the car.
Goes under the car, right? Exactly.
And blows up like the car.
And blows up the car.
It keeps tightening.
But it keeps heightening. Yeah, it keeps heightening.
Yeah, because it was actually like a well done sketch, because it was got bigger, and then people start pulling their kids away.
Right. Exactly. And it felt like you almost, not that you have to, but very often I think people are influenced by that, and they start writing sketches like that. So they don't do the high concept sketches as much as they do in life sketches.
But that is kind of a choice, I think, because Keegan and I write together, and Keegan was very specific on Key and Peele about, you go from a 5, and we do talk about it in the book and the podcast. You go from you start at a 5 and you go to a 12 to an 18 to 27, then 110, like the I Said Bitch sketch. It keeps heightening and heightening.
Oh, that's what I loved about Key and Peele, that the beginning was so real. And you had told me about your guys' technique, and Saturday Night Live had its lane, and so when you came out, that show came out, it was something new. It was very filmic and played very serious, and then just go ahead, finish your thought, Al. It's like a boiling a frog, right? It's like,
even the teacher one. It just I wasn't even sure where it's going, and then it starts. You're getting angrier, and it just gets crazier and
crazier.
You know, I thought was a clever one was the auction. Because I don't see where that's going. And
that's
then
one
when
of my
you start
favorite,
doing it, you're like, this is fucking hilarious. And it's hilarious, and it's over. And so you don't start getting tired. You don't start going, all right.
Right.
Go,
Yeah.
oh,
And then we're just done.
Yeah. It's like good joke, over.
But part of the reason why how do you make a slave auction something so serious and make it funny? But it's not about the auction. It's about people's egos getting hurt.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the fun part about it.
Yeah, that's the actual theme of the sketch.
For people who haven't seen it, basically that Keegan and Jordan are 2 out of 3 spots in a slave auction, and the first person who comes up next to them keeps getting bid on, and they never get bid on. And at first they're like, "Oh, you can't." I mean, you can.
Yeah, you can't. It's like good. I'm glad he got sold because I don't want to be owned by another human being. You know what I mean? I mean, I ain't trying to get owned up in here. You know. And then every time a guy comes on the lot and gets sold, we're just like, okay, no, that's interesting.
Why are we not?
I'm actually physically bigger than him.
What's going on with lot A? They're not buying anybody on lot B or C. Right. I feel like I'm taller than other gentlemen. I feel like I have more stamina than that gentleman.
Maybe they can't see us from their angle.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right.
It's always these weird excuses of like why they're not getting. But the little shrimpy guy comes on, and you're like, now it's too much. This is a trick.
Right.
Like
this is
even
ridiculous.
Know
what they're looking for? Like,
I know that was very funny. You articulating.
And the way you two played it, kind of just casual dudes talking, it was just against the whole darkness of the situation.
But each back and forth, Dana, like the last minute is like joke, he does a joke, like on top of each other.
Yeah.
But each one is a quality, funny thing to say. And then it was over. I was like, oh, that was great.
My biggest flaw is I'm a perfectionist.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
I know magic.
When they got on the boat, I put up no fuss. Here's how I did. I like jumped on. They were like, I didn't bump into anyone. Yeah. I jumped right on. It's like, it's so funny. So funny. So good. So those are like, you could watch those, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to do a 40-minute question. So stay close. So, and then you'll have 12 seconds at the end to answer. But when I wouldn't see as much Key and Peele when it's out, maybe out of jealousy, but I would see it here and there. And then with the TikTok and Instagram, I start seeing it. And then when I watch a few, now more come up. And so it's a whole, probably another world of fans that is great.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
It's insane. It's incredible because now we'll be walking down the street and there'll be like a 15-year-old, and a 15-year-old is like, "Oh my God, I love
you're Balake.
You're Balake. You're Balake." And I go, "Wait a minute, you're 15. I'm trying to do the math in my head. Wait a minute, you were 4 when our show came out."
or even we do talk about it a little bit because someone's like, "God, I love your YouTube show," and King is like, "What?" Oh yeah,
right.
Sketches from 10 years ago that are now on YouTube.
And on TikTok. They think that those sketches are new sketches.
What was it originally? Was it Comedy Central?
It was on Comedy Central. Yeah, it was on Comedy Central, and we started.
God, they don't do that kind of stuff anymore. It doesn't seem like.
It's YouTube is the place, man. I mean, because Comedy Central, you're inside Comedy Central. Now you're potentially have 5 billion people digitally.
You're everywhere.
And your sketches were, by and large, evergreen, right? I mean.
Yeah, by and large, evergreen, because the writing process took so long. We couldn't do topical stuff, which worked out to our advantage.
Yeah.
One show on TV doing it live, having topical, I think is enough. It's not easy.
You're right.
Well, also shooting, filming, editing, and then coming out with a release date. It's like too hard to figure out like what's going on in the news that week. It wouldn't even make sense.
No, I love the excessive celebration. Can I talk about that one? The football one?
Sure.
Because that probably wound down as hard as I'd seen anything wound down. Starting out with just people, I guess it started with the idea that you can get penalized for celebrating too much if you get a touchdown. If the ref says that's too much, and you take it to such absurd lengths and build it to, do you want to talk about, that was a huge one for you, right? I mean,
that was a huge one. In fact, it was also because it got emulated by actual football players.
Oh, they actually did some of the moves. Yeah.
Yeah. Actual football players in real life would do the moves like that. So,
and they get fined for it.
Yeah. And they would get fined. Yeah. And so I think that part of what it was, is that once again, it goes back to that theory of starting as real as possible, starting at that 3 or that 5, and then just build it. And that one doesn't go to 600 million or anything like that. That one just goes to like 48. but it's still it kind of exists real enough that it's like you could see a player and their ego doing that in real life, and
Right.
it really was it was so much fun. And we did actually, I did at the Pro Bowl a few years ago, we did a video that Elle directed and created that was really funny.
The NFL, we're both football fans. The NFL, we've been doing a bunch of things, and I was the head writer for the NFL Honors that Keegan hosted last year, and wrote a musical silly number for him with singing in the audience with Gronk and Roger Goodell. So at the Pro Bowl, they asked us if we would do something with touchdown celebrations. And they'd asked if we could make up a character that's like a touchdown celebration coach. So I pitched Keegan and Roger and the NFL this idea that his name would be Jim Light Brown, after Jim Brown.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Silly.
So they wouldn't go with Jim Light Brown, but
they wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it.
Seems like sort of in the middle. You could get away with that, maybe.
Yeah.
So I happened to be born in the Bronx, so I was like, okay, what about Boogie Down Brown? So we came up with this character, Boogie Down Brown, and we did a couple of videos, and they're online, they're easy to find, where Keegan is teaching very seriously, very heartfelt, teaching players the most important part of a football game, which is the celebration after the touchdown. And we did a bit with the Detroit Lions with Matt Stafford when he was quarterback over there, and a bunch of people at the Lions. And so I had to come up with a bunch of touchdown celebrations that we're teaching them along the way. And it was around Christmas time. So I actually taught 5 or 6 of the Detroit Lions how to do a Rockettes kick line. Like knee kick.
That would look funny.
It's in the video. And that weekend they scored a touchdown and did a Rockettes kick line.
Wow.
At a Detroit
Kickball
Lions
chain.
It's why it's so fun. It's fun that there were a couple of those sketches that actually were influenced, not influenced, that's the word I'm looking for. They morphed into real life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
People are called I was saying we were at a Yankee game and Aaron Judge, it would be like Aaron. Everyone loves the fact that they are now Aaron, and especially to tell Keegan their story. My name is Blake, and everyone calls me Balaka.
He's like, I can guess ahead.
My cousin's Jake Quellen now, and we don't call her Jacqueline anymore. We just call her Jake Quellen.
Right.
You know,
what was the girl, Denise? She's like, Denise.
Say it right.
Say it right.
D-nice. It just goes wham, 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 wham. And then she finally goes, D-nice. There you go.
Could you relate to this? I hard to articulate, but sometimes I think the most absurd sketches have 5 questions. Like,
ooh, interesting.
Why is this guy a substitute teacher? Wouldn't he have been fired the first day? Why can't he articulate the names? Why are the students reacting that way? They're not just leaving. There's 3. But when you get to 5, it's sort of like that's at maximum absurdity, it seems to me. Like Churchley, why does she have that? Why is that person in drag or not? Who is this person? Why does she go on the show and torture people? What does she think to gain from the show? Who are her followers? What does she do after the show? I don't know. It's just kind of that subject.
You have to have the wrong answer to every one of those questions, and then it's a sketch. You're like, it's like, well, we can't prove all these, so it's a sketch.
So it's a sketch. Yeah.
Listen,
well, it's good when you
listen, Barbara. It's Barbara. I said Barbara. It's just that. Yeah. Who is that guy? Does he know he's insane?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't. But
the more pissed you get.
Can I ask you about Mad TV was sort of its own lane. I don't know if it's still on. It was on for a long time. You were on it for 5 years. And it seems like there's the SNL crew, and then there was the Mad TV crew, and just learning that you were the only former Mad TV, which kind of surprised me, player to host SNL. So do you think is it a Coke and Pepsi? It is a yin and yang. What is the sensibility of Mad TV versus SNL or the aesthetic?
There was, I think the aesthetic.
Is that a Lauren question? That might be a Lauren question.
That might be a Lauren.
Spell aesthetic first. I want to see if you could do that. It starts.
Don't start with me.
Starts with an A. Yeah.
It's interesting. I think the biggest difference was there was a really unapologetic naughtiness about Mad TV. that I think it was almost like it was very baudy and raunchy. And I think because it was flying under the radar a bit more, there was that sense of that we really are going to push the envelope as much as we want.
It was underdoggy.
Yeah, it was very underdoggy and we can do whatever we want and rough around the edges. And there was this sense of also, like, we would get to do those 10-to-1 sketches in earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Like, so for those people who are listening, like, you guys can help me with this. You guys know a 10-to-1 sketch is a sketch on Saturday Night Live that would happen 10 minutes before 1 a.m. or 5 minutes before 1 a.m., which will be one of the experimental sketches or experimental videos or really super absurdist sketches.
Yeah, or sketches that got very few laughs during the dress show as well.
During the dress.
Yeah,
but they do like
but
them.
they're sometimes the best,
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah,
sketches.
right, exactly. And I think usually comedians and sketch performers love those sketches, like adore those sketches.
Yeah.
And we used to get to do that. We used to fight a lot with our executive producers on Mad TV, but they would often let us do those sketches smack dab in the middle of the show. You always save those credential sketches for the beginning, but they would let us do that. And so that was, to me, the biggest kind of difference between the two shows, is how bawdy it was. And also that they were pushing kind of an ethnic envelope too. Because there were, at one point in time, there were 4 of us. There were 4 African Americans on the show at the same time. And that was something that you weren't seeing as much.
I don't think that happened on SNL.
No, not 4 at once.
Well, we also had in Living Color, I think Dana, probably that was more when you were on, when that was pretty huge.
Oh, yeah.
And it was trickling into us because Chris Rock, when he left, went to In Living Color, and but it was like the final year. It was sort of had its heyday. It was winding down, but man, they were doing. It was that they blew up so big, doing so much crazy shit. I think we were jealous on SNL. You're like, I wonder if we could get away with that, but we really, it wouldn't have been our brand right then and there. It was like it would have been copying because they blew up. And then you've got that. Then Mad TV was always bubbling under with a good sketch here and there you'd hear about. And then they went up against SNL, I think, on Saturday. Was that for a long time, or?
Yeah, it was most of the time. So you guys would we'd start at 11, and then the programming at 11:30 is like, you never wanted your sketch to be on at 11:30 because SNL was about to come on.
Oh, they might switch, yeah.
and people would switch over.
But you guys weren't live, right? Or were you pre-taped? Or were you
We weren't live.
Yeah.
We were not live. No. We were taped.
Because my theory about SNL, I'd like your opinion on this, is that it maybe accidentally became a reality show that people love, and that you got a football player or an actor trying to do live sketch comedy. That's so, because for me, sometimes if SNL has a bad show, it's still fascinating if the host is awkward and reading off the cards. So it's a bit of a train wreck. It's a high wire act. So that element is always there. But why? You guys just wrote the book on the history of sketch comedy. Why do you think it's lasted a half century? You don't have to. David?
No, they're thinking. They're thinking.
I think
they might have the right answer.
I think one element is that, and second is that Lorne Michaels, he was not there for a few years, but he's resisted changing the iconic brand, because there were years of Saturday Night Live dead, pre-tape it for an hour, Mad TV's where it's at, change the theme, a lot of pressure, and we've interviewed all these cast members, and David and I are like, we're there. Everything is exactly the same as far as how it's done, 8H. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
I think part of it is the sporting event of it. I think what you're saying about there's chaos of it. And being backstage, watching Keegan get ready for it was pretty fascinating. Like you are about to go on. It's like a Broadway show. You have to go on. Whatever happens, and there's nothing else like it.
And when a sketch dies, at least on the East Coast, it dies on television, which is interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think what you just said, Elle, is a great way of putting it. Sporting event, like it's because it's a live event.
Watch it in live.
You want to watch it live, right? Exactly. Yeah.
And it's rock and roll. You get How did you So there you are live on SNL, and so it's kind of rock and roll energy. It's just a different energy than really cool films you were making on Key and Peele. So how did you find it?
Well, having been at the Second City for 6 years.
So you've done it. Yeah.
So if I had to remind myself, remember, you've done this before. You've done this before. You
Still
did this
scared,
for 6 straight years. And then the other thing I had to remember to do was just play to the audience in the room. Don't let anybody, I tried to avoid anybody talking to me about, hey, you're on TV, you're live in front of millions of people. I try to play to like the 200 people in that room. So that you're just in that room with them having a great old time with that audience.
And everyone's watching. So they get to see, because it's more real if you're playing here instead of like, out to the rafters.
Right. Exactly.
That's what I would do. Because if I thought what was really happening, and in those days, 20 million or something, it would really, But Elle, since you know Keegan so well, were you there along the week with him, just sort of kind of going?
Yeah, I mean, they knew. Everyone knew that I've been Keegan's writing partner for a while, so I actually was given an opportunity. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk. I was given an opportunity to pitch some script ideas.
That's cool.
I pitched a few ideas, like Keegan and I together, and we're on the phone with everyone and
Higgins.
Yeah.
Steve Higgins. Know him well.
Yeah.
Steve Higgins.
So we were on with Higgins, who also, of course, is friends with Mike. So Mike, and they knew that we were going to throw out some ideas. And it was a really, really interesting process. I was able to help cut a few things and trim a few things, and the Muppet sketch was fantastic. I mean, not Muppet, the Kermit the Frog. Yeah, the Muppets.
Yeah,
I thought that's like an all-time sketch. It hit me so hard. Fantastic. The concept of it.
Security.
Yeah,
we talked about this before. I think how great
it probably came up, but it's something about that sketch. I think is like a Hall of Famer.
But it's funny because he's not playing the substitute teacher, but he still gets to play the guy who's extremely angry.
When they start beating the shit out of the puppets and stuff, it's so it escalates nicely, and it's a beautiful sketch.
I did so one of the lines, and you might tell me if I did wrong here, but I was able to cut. So when they're beating up they're about to beat up the Muppets, or they're really upset and they're going to beat up, the guys in the balcony on the sketch. It was like, you're going to kill him like you killed that teenage boy, or so. There was some line like that I was like, I think beating up the Muppets is enough.
Yeah, it was.
Well, it was already in the chaos. Didn't you say, they must be veterans that lost their legs or something?
Yeah.
That's already edgy enough right there. I don't think.
I don't need. He also killed a kid.
I would agree with that trim personally.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And so one of the things I pitched them, they ended up using a couple weeks later in a different kind of version, which is interesting, which I learned.
Oh, that's flattering.
Yes, I was told it is flattering.
You're told it's flattering.
The other one, what did you say?
She was told that was flattering, right?
That's what someone said when they used one of my jokes in their act.
Yes.
They go, that's flattering. I go, okay. I was looking at it through the wrong lens.
Yeah.
So what was this sketch?
They did. Well, I'll tell you the one they actually went to dress with a sketch that I had pitched, and it was after 2 years of COVID. So Keegan, and it's in the book too, Keegan was in a Renaissance festival when he was younger. He got to perform and do bits and acrobat stuff and run around an actual Renaissance festival. And I thought, wouldn't it be great with all of the hashtags and PC and how politically correct and sensitive everybody is to everything? What if there was a sketch about a Renaissance festival that had been shut down for the last 2 years for COVID, and now they're back? So they're back, and they're going to start like, welcome back. It's been 2 years. So, we haven't had a festival in a couple of years, and we're back and we're very excited. But we are going to make a few small changes to the festival. For example, we're not going to be using the word wench. We've decided that wench doesn't work for this and that, So it became like the joke bucket was, how many things can you do? And then say, and you know what we're not going to do? The other thing too is we're going to cut, Keegan, whatever Keegan's character's name is he's not going to get chased by the cops and get beaten up, chased by the sheriff and get beaten up in front of everyone while the kids throw fruit at him or whatever it was. And he was like, wait, but that's that's the best part.
That's my shtick.
That's all I do in
and
this.
they're like, yeah, we just feel that maybe Keegan, getting beaten up by sheriffs in front of small children probably is not the best look. And then I was like, and then you could say, well, what if we use someone else? They're like, okay, who would we use? And then
Bowen.
Can we use Bowen? Definitely not. We're not using Bowen. We're not going to beat up Bowen. The cops aren't going to beat up the only Asian guy in the cast. So anyhow, so that was, and they ended up writing a sketch and we pitched jokes for it and it made it to dress rehearsal. And I think it somehow in dress rehearsal just kind of ran out.
Didn't click.
Yeah.
It's sometimes funny when it's funny at like read through and rehearsal, and then you get to dress and you go, "What am I missing here?" Something either start off on the wrong foot.
It changed a lot over the few days.
Oh, is that what happened? They were tweaking.
As you two would know, being there, where it was in the studio is important. If it's sort of cerebral in that sense, I don't know if if the sound broke, it would still be funny. Escalation.
I think it got very stretched out, so that it wasn't the timing of the jokes. And Keegan and I, when we first met and talked about working together, we had a lot of conversations about jokes and turns and where you think it's going and why things are funny. And hey, have you heard this joke? Like the
science of comedy, and the science of hard jokes. And Elle has an encyclopedic knowledge of jokes. Like she knows jokes like you can't even believe.
Well, what's one that pops into your mind, Elle? No, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Like hard jokes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the first joke I told Keegan was, and forgive me if anyone's heard, but there's a little kid and he's smoking, and this old guy comes up to him and he says, "Kid, you really shouldn't smoke. It's not healthy. It's really bad for you." And the kid says, "Well, my grandfather's 95 years old." The guy goes, "Wow, and he's a smoker?" And he goes, "No, he minds his own fucking business."
There's the turn. Yeah.
So where's that joke? And
it's got a good turn.
The shortest joke that all those. I happen to be Jewish from New York, so I remember every old couple joke there is. But the short one that Keegan loves is the old woman yells downstairs to her husband, and she says, "Morty, why don't you come upstairs and make love to me?" And he says, "Fine, but I can't do both."
I've got a pretty quick one.
Nice.
Ready?
Yes,
Quick turn.
Don't you hate people that don't laugh? They just do their joke next. That's me. Okay, so it's a good beginning. A 5-year-old and a child molester are walking into the woods at night. And you've heard it. And so
I've not heard it.
The 5-year-old goes, "Mister, I'm scared." And he goes, "You're scared? After this, I got to walk out of here by myself."
Right.
There you go.
We're gonna go to a commercial.
Is that? Do you two write those kind of I'm terrible at really thinking of jokes. Like I would have to, I do this bad redneck character. Rednecky, the redneck comedian, and it's intentionally bad. I've never gotten it to work very well, but you ever
it works on here.
You ever fought so loud, dog 2 stayed away, go, "What that? Come and get some."
Because the "come and get some" is the funniest.
It's a "come and get some."
Come and get some.
You ever crap so big you don't know gonna get down that toilet? Come and get some. I mad my sister only 'cause mama turned me down. Come and get some. But
mama turned me down.
Come and get some. I said to mama, "What's for dinner?" She said, "Roadkill." I said, "What kind?" She says, "I gotta take a drive. Come and get some." So those are I could write in that character a little bit, but they're intentionally really bad, but really good twisted jokes. I don't have that skill set.
Like a good turn on a joke is a good one. Do you have another one?
Another short joke?
Do you have
it's hard to know jokes.
It's hard to think of them.
It's tough. She's got great jokes.
I have an X-rated one that I don't know if it's that funny. Someone told it to me, but if you take it literally, sometimes people go, "Ooh, what is one? How do you get a dog to stop pumping your leg? Pick him up and blow him."
Pick him up. Okay. All right.
We can.
I love that someone told it to you. He's like, I didn't make it up.
I didn't make
Don't
it.
blame the messenger.
We're back here with Elle and Keegan. So what makes you two laugh the most right now? Like, you go to movies, you go to YouTube, this podcast.
I'm very fortunate. Christopher Guest also was someone I spoke to who's in the book, and he's become someone we adore. And I think Keegan and I have fun playing the gym game, which is, do you know the gym game?
No.
I guess it was Christopher Guest and who else was on?
Harry Shearer.
And Harry Shearer. So we're on some project together. I don't know if it was Quantum Tap or something else.
Or SNL. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was around SNL.
It might have been SNL time. Could have been
SNL. They had
SNL.
that one year together, I think.
That's right.
It was Billy Crystal. And yeah.
So they have a game that they play called the gym game that I actually heard through a friend. And then when I met Christopher, I asked him to back up. So I've heard about this gym game. It's basically that the concept, there was a TV commercial with Jim Amici years and years ago. That was Don Amici's brother, younger brother. And he says, "Hi, I'm Jim Amici." And then he sells whatever thing he's peddling. And they thought this idea that every famous person has a younger, lesser known brother named Jim. So if you see someone that looks like Brad Pitt, but you know it's not Brad Pitt, you go, Jim Pitt. There's Jim Pitt. So Keegan and I have had fun. Even yesterday, I was like, but Chris would be very upset because I try to make it as easy as possible as I say the full name of the person, because you can't, if you say Jim Smith, you don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, and please forgive me, Christopher, if you hear this, but it's not the official gym game. I apologize. But I say, hey, look, it's Jimmy Brad Pitt. So if I say Jimmy Brad Pitt, Keegan will then look around the room and see who I'm talking.
You cheat a little bit.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So yesterday we saw someone and I said, Jimmy John Goodman. And he looked really uncanny like John Goodman.
He looked like John Goodman. He looked like
big or skinny John Goodman.
So we play the gym game, but I told Chris that I was with Keegan and we were in California and we were somewhere like south of LA, and I saw this really beat up hotel by the beach, and I said, "Look, Jim Shutters."
Yeah, that's
and then
Shutters is a beautiful hotel.
I used to do. I think Michael Keaton had a bit of like Hitler's brother be like Biff Hitler, or everyone's done bits like Eddie Lincoln.
Eddie Lincoln.
Those are the word. I like that. I also like shortening names. I watched talk shows as a kid, and they'd say. So I was talking to John Carson and Eddie McMahon.
Right, that's funny.
Everything has always slightly changed.
John Carson,
Bobby Mitchum, and Robbie Redford. Whatever. Anyway, but
the gym game's fun because if you see someone and someone else knows, I'd be like Jimmy Barbra Streisand.
It's a good code.
So then you just gotta, your eyes have to dart, but you have to be very kind of nondescript when you're doing it, not conspicuous.
But you could also in conversation be like, someone leaves or they were rude and be like, what just happened? Jimmy Jams Franco, whatever, whoever it was, just walked by.
Maybe perhaps you'd see me and they'd say, Jimmy Billy Mummy from Lost in Space. Some people think
Billy Mummy.
Jimmy Spade.
He was from Lost in Space, 1969. Sorry, I'm dating myself.
But I didn't tell you. So John Belushi has a brother named Jim. Tom Hanks has a brother named Jim.
Yeah,
there are actually famous people who have younger brothers. And I think that's how you win, by the way, is if you actually see a younger brother of a successful actor and his name is Jim. I think you win the game.
No, that's it.
I think, guys, I think that when I was doing the improv at the beginning, I was like 21. I think Tom's brother was a waiter there, and Jim Hanks. I think we should have asked Tom, because I think what he did is he was a waiter and then he'd get up on stage and try stand-up. And he once said he would wear his waiter uniform, which is funny. And he would say, Tom Hanks is my brother. And I think one of his jokes that I liked was, people say, you're a waiter. and he's a super big movie star. Why doesn't he just give you $1 million? Does anyone know why? I don't know why.
That's
why
good.
doesn't he give me $1 million? He said, "Why doesn't he? I don't know. Why doesn't he?"
That's
that
a
would
good
be so easy for him.
A good way to own that because that's a tough position.
Yeah, at least people are thinking it, so you just throw it out there. But I guess he was a stand. I don't know, but it's tough. I mean, to be super famous like that.
By the way, Dennis Miller, our friend, his little brother is Jimmy Miller, who used to make
That's right.
French fries. Yeah, the manager, great manager,
Jimmy.
Yeah. Who talks a little bit like Dennis, just laid back a little bit.
Richie and Jimmy. Yeah, they all have
you
that
ever
accent.
run into Jimmy? He's got you in a headlock within like a minute. Come here.
That guy loves a noogie. He loves, or he'll grab your hand and like twist your hand.
I know he likes to kind of, but you're a big guy. But with me, he's sort of Jimmy, please. I mean,
I get picked up way too much.
With David, people just pick him up like a puppet.
Yeah.
They go, what are you?
Yeah, they put me on their shoulders and we walk blocks. And I go, put me down. Blocks.
Blocks.
All right. Keegan, you don't know this, but you are in Hotel Transylvania and you play the mummy, I think. Because I
do play the mummy. I do play the
Now, is this, but did you replace CeeLo Green? Is that my possible recollection?
I was, yes. CeeLo was in the first movie, and then I was in 2, 3, 4. 4. Yeah.
Yeah. I think also for all those buffs of Hotel Transylvania, Dana's one of them.
I did a character, but it wasn't even a character. I was in one of them. I can't remember.
I love it. I don't even remember that.
I didn't get to watch.
Really, Dana?
Yeah, I was. I can't even remember my voice, but I knew that it was a non-starter.
You said, "I'm a vampire. I want your blood. Come and get some."
Come on.
I remember that guy.
I don't even know if your character and my character have ever interacted with each other.
I think we hang out in the movie a little bit, like in a pack. It's usually Drac
we hang out
and
in a pack,
you and me and
pack.
Frank. But I got to come alive. I'm only glasses because I'm invisible, Dana. You might want to get a pen. I'm only invisible in the first 3, but this one we reverse and we turn back into people or something. Yeah. That was a good one. They do a good job with those, by the way. I think they're funny as shit.
Can I ask you guys a random question? Because if you're doing animation stuff, people ask me, "Hey, what do you get paid for one of those kind of things?" So for either of you, you don't have to say what it is, but there's certain things that you kind of get paid more than you think you would, or other things are maybe you're getting checks in the mail.
Right.
Maybe, what have been some home runs for you financially in a surprising way? Like I did a thing for Cat and Dogs, and I did it to an actor. They didn't like what he was doing, and they tried to get me to dub his voice. So they didn't use it. It didn't work because the animation was already done. I got checks for 20 years.
Really?
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm trying to think what
was the easiest job for the most money? Kind of. You have 10 seconds.
Did you ever write anything? You got a big writing shit. Those are good residuals. I remember Nick Swartzen wrote Benchwarmers with Sandler.
I guess I came out of
producing, right? Yeah,
got a fat check.
So when you produce an independent film, you kind of learn every single job you could possibly learn on a movie or on a project. So when I started getting jobs that actually paid, I was like, oh well, I can write it and I'll edit it and I'll do the storyboard for it and I can do all these things. And people are like, oh, no, you don't have to do that. You could just write the commercial or direct the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, I have an idea for the campaign. What if I pitch the idea for the campaign to the client, which I don't think happens that often.
No, it doesn't.
They consider a director. They say, hey, we've done a whole bunch of campaigns together. They say, then I'll write and direct them. And Keegan is the razzmatazz. And so I ended up getting to a place where people would stop hiring, wouldn't use their agency,
the middleman,
use us for everything. So between the two of us, we are kind of we have
a package deal,
one-stop shop.
What would be your dream as a couple? Do you have a sense of maybe doing an indie film together, or
not an indie film, but I'm going to direct a film feature next year. I'm directing a grown-up film. Yes.
Is your husband
in
it, or
yes,
he is in it?
I like to say that he was cast as a supporting role, and then he married me, and now he has the upgrade. I've given him an upgrade.
Oh,
For the lead.
So where does
are you the
this?
lead?
In the long game.
What?
So it's a sci-fi romantic adventure. So
3 auditions, and we made it.
Open on the space.
I know one of our publicists is on the call. It hasn't been announced yet, but it's going to be a kind of a cop action movie with Keegan as the lead.
Okay, let's guess what the title is for a second, David. What do you think the working title? It's an action gangster type.
New York action.
New York action. I'm going to call it 10th Avenue.
10th Avenue. Not bad.
All right.
Okay. 10th Avenue.
I'm taking notes. But it's been.
This will be the biggest moneymaker of my career. If I name this thing and get little residual check. If I live to 105, I'll tell my kids it was that 10th Avenue. Yeah. Go ahead, David.
But I don't know how funny a story it is, but when I first wrote the script, it was years ago. I first wrote it as a straight drama, and I put I have an Uncle Joe. My dad's best friend call him Uncle Joe.
A real Uncle Joe?
So I have an Uncle Joe, Joey Saladino. So I called him. I said, look, I wrote the script. I'm going to send it out to a bunch of agents, a bunch of producers, and I don't want to put my name on it. I don't want them to think a woman wrote it. I put the name Frank Saladino as the writer.
I like it.
And that is how I sent the script out. And I took a whole bunch of meetings, and they're like, Frank Saladino, did he work on The Wire? I think I knew Frank. See, Frank's and Frank's great, right? I think I've heard of Frank. I think I knew Frank when he worked on NYPD Blue. Did Frank work on? People? He has no IMDb page. He does not exist, and people think Frank Saladino.
They just go, I like it better that a guy wrote this.
Frank Saladino wrote
Smart.
This
if you'd made it Frankie Saladino, it would have even been too.
That's right.
You could be a Frankie.
I actually, it was my nickname in college, believe it or not, was Frank.
Frankie is a switch.
Harlem adjacent.
Frankie is an official, like Robin or Dana or whatever. It's a switch hitter name. A woman can be Frankie, right? And it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Frankie's cute.
I still have friends who call me Frank. I went to Syracuse, and it was a joke freshman year, and I became Frank for all of college. So I was like, okay, I'm calling it Frank Saladino, and that's how I sent it out to the world. And then my agents at UTA were like, there aren't a lot of female writer directors in this genre at all. So they said that's
good.
No, I'm trying to think of
name on it.
So Harlem Adjacent opens. Well, we got to shoot it.
Harlem Adjacent. Okay, we have 10th Avenue. We have
Harlem Adjacent.
Harlem Adjacent. Okay, 10th Avenue.
Just put it in the mix.
It's not. Titles are not.
I've got one a little more dramatic because I just see a picture of Keegan. Playtime's over.
Ooh.
And that's his catchphrase right before he kills the entire neighborhood. Playtime's over.
What if you're still in your medieval costume and it's Sir Lance's shot? And you've got a gun this time.
What if you're the substitute teacher, but you're back in heat?
Yeah.
If you don't pronounce your name right, there's going to be hell to pay. And you got a big bullwhip.
School's back for the summer.
School's back. So you know Keegan's talent. You live with him, and you know how much he's done. When you direct this film, or you try to tease out something he hasn't been able to show off, because it seems like he's done 900 things. The research is unbelievable. All the sketch shows and movies and television.
If you get a chance to see the opening of the NFL Honors last year, that was my baby. And
NFL Honors on YouTube.
Yeah, and I wanted Keegan. I was like, I want Keegan to rap in it. Keegan's going to tell jokes. He's going to sing. By the way, he has a beautiful voice, which I learned. He has a stunning voice, and I made him.
Beautiful.
I inspired him to sing at our wedding, and our agents were like, "You sing, Keegan? How come you didn't tell us this?" Like,
can I ask Keegan a question? Keegan, what can't you do? Because I could do a lot of things, but I really can't sing. I could fake sing, but I can't sing. So you're doing all this sketch stuff, all these characters, all these impressions, and now you can sing. Is there anything that's a little bit difficult for you? Can you dance, kid?
Can you dance? I'm not. Let's say this. I think I can move. I'm not a dancer, but that's a thing that people say. It's like, oh, he can move. but I'm not. I would say I'm not.
You
I'm
can
not a
like I can swim. I can get from one side of the pool to the other side of the pool. Like I think
What it's Schmigadoon. Don't you have to dance or no?
The thing is, they never give me any dancing in Schmigadoon.
You just watch it?
He's the guy who doesn't like musicals.
Because I'm the guy that doesn't like musicals. So the thing is, I love them in real life, which is the thing, is I absolutely love them in real life.
You can watch dancing. That's another thing you've got.
Here's an inside baseball thing on this subject I found interesting. I know someone who works with Jimmy Fallon, and when Justin Timberlake would come on and they're doing this very advanced choreography, and Justin's obviously super talented, but Jimmy, could you show it to him once? And he's got all the steps down. You know, he just has that skill set of really being able to choreograph dancing.
Yeah, he's good at it. I mean, God, half his show is pre-tapes. I wouldn't be able to do that. It's so hard anyway. And then pre-tape after, learn a dance, pre-tape, learn this.
Man, it's pre-tape.
Go to Coney Island with J-Lo. It's like every time there's something going on. Anyway,
but I definitely
enough about him.
Sorry, to answer your question, Dana, I definitely try to say, I know that Keegan wants to do more action and things like that. So I'm writing for him really fun things for him to do. So I'm writing for him things that I want to see him do that I know he can do.
I love the genre. I do like revenge movies. I like kick-ass mob stuff. You know, I love Sopranos. I love the Scorsese stuff, Goodfellas. So it'd be fun to see Keegan in an environment like that, you know?
So that was a very long answer of yes, this is something that we want to do.
Well, it's very intriguing, this movie.
I took the drama out. I took a lot of the drama. I made it more. One of both of our favorite movies is Midnight Run.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Oh my god!
So it's an action movie, but we say it's a comedy, but the bullets are real. It's kind of the way
I think if you put as someone who can operate in all these different comedy frequencies, sounds very intellectual. Someone like Keegan, and you put them in a world that's heavy. You know, I'm not saying Taxi Driver level, but there's big laughs to be had there with the
out of seriousness.
Yeah,
always.
I was curious about, this is what I'm curious now, seeing all this and listening to you guys, as a artistic, whatever, capital A, couple, steeped in all this creativity, you know, what are the things, the tentpole movies that you share, or movies or television or streaming or stuff you watch together and look at each other and go, holy shit, you know, or movies that touchstones that you might watch every other year, or cartoons. I don't know. I'm just curious about how you consume all this, your own habits, consuming art.
The show that we both just are in awe of is Barry. I think Barry's phenomenal.
Yeah. I never got. Barry. No, it's brilliant.
That's real bullets.
There you go. That's that balance of comedy and drama.
Barry is Anthony. What's his?
Anthony Corrigan.
Oh, the Russian bad guy.
No Hank.
Yeah.
It's just, he never makes
going
the
to hurt
first
you.
choice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm being ridiculous, but what do you love about it most?
He never makes the first choice. It's like he always makes the 18th choice, and it's perfect.
Yeah, he does surprise you with his rhythms, what you're saying. The way he reads the line, it's always a little what you're not expecting.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that nice balance between the comedy and the drama, and there is absurdism in the show as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always based in something grounded. Mm-hmm. It really, I just thought that Bill did such a great job. Bill and Alec did such a great job of that show.
I just thought it was,
love that show.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite cinematic moments is the first Indiana Jones, when Harrison Ford has been fighting all these people, and this guy has, his sword, and Harrison Ford takes out a gun and shoots him because he's so tired. It's like that. That's kind of that feeling of Barry just being like, oh God, now I got to kill this guy. Really, I got to do this.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh yeah, when someone won't stop attacking and fighting, like, oh fuck, you're dead.
What about when he tells the girlfriend how he would make her friend go insane if he went in her house and changed things around? And the girl's just staring at him, and he makes it sound so normal, and she's like, "Are you out of your fucking mind, dude?" Because he is like, but he says it so earnestly. He goes, "This is actually pretty easy. I just break in every night. I just change your furniture around. Just make her go insane quiet." And she's like, dude, what are you talking about?
Right.
It just got so, it's very
brilliant. It's like
it's just well done overall. Yeah, without getting into
one of those great shows. What about movies? You have 5 seconds.
Like I said, Midnight Run is
Midnight
Run is
okay. That's something.
killer.
Yeah, that's just one of those movies.
I love that.
That's a classic. Midnight Run is one of those films. It's just everything's right about it.
Yeah.
Even just Joey Pants on the phone and the guy next to him trying to punch him in the gut while he's on the phone, like.
The two guys out in the desert in the phone booth.
Every little thing, like
just every small.
Well, there's almost no one like Charles Grodin out there.
Yeah.
Anymore. You mean when Austin is?
John Austin.
Yeah, when he's smoking a cigarette and he goes to buy a ticket at the airport and the person says, "Would you like smoking or not smoking?" He goes, "What do you think?" With the cigarette in his hand, and it's just small little jokes that are jokes but aren't jokes at the same time.
Right, just throwaways,
throwaways that work, and just beautiful behavioral stuff. That movie, it's so.
That's the thing you can get in film. You know, I love it too. I've never been in a good movie. Really, I've been in a broad comedy, but you can get those little moments in film. It's so much fun. Digital cameras, editing, all the tools are so much cheaper. Midnight Run. So Charles Grodin, he was funny when, God rest his soul, one of our greats in the 90s. Remember when he did his MSNBC show? He was a talk show host for a while. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh no,
yeah,
I don't remember.
And I came on and he said, "I want you to do the whole interview." I used to do Imperfect. I couldn't get it now. I do the whole interview as Johnny, so I had to stay in Johnny Carson for 20 minutes with Charles Grodin. And it's exhausting.
Grodin is a rare talent that we don't have one like that, I don't think.
We don't have it. Yeah, you're right. We don't have another Grodin right now.
You do. I mean, what's the... I'm sorry.
Do not blank.
Meryl Streep, the movie about heaven.
Whispers.
Defending Your Life.
Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks. Yes, but he's not been as busy lately. Albert, you
that's pretty close.
Where are you? Are you listening, Albert?
Get on here.
Defending Your Life was one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, that's another one.
Is great.
That's not the casino one, is it? That's a different one. That's Across America or something.
Defending Your Life is the one with him and Meryl Streep where they're in kind of a way station.
Yeah.
You'll be thinking of movies after we stop the podcast. Yeah. It is sort of like, I'll say Stanley Kubrick, Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, who did Alien? Sorry, and Gladiator.
Ridley Scott. James Cameron.
Jimmy Cameron.
True Romance.
True Romance is a hit.
Christopher Walken. Is that where he has the speech about?
Where he has the speech.
The thing yeah.
One of the greatest scenes in cinematic history.
Yeah.
That scene in that trailer. Oh my God.
You give me chills because I've watched that and I've shown it to people. Just that scene, as far as just sort of a perfect scene. With Christopher Walken being Christopher Walken, Dennis
Especially
Hopper.
When you watch the whole movie and you ramp up to it and you hit it, it's like,
and when the guy knows he's gonna die and gets the cigarette and stuff, it's beautiful. Yeah. I may watch it afterwards. Yeah.
I also love the Firstborn movie. I'm a huge Doug Liman fan.
Oh yeah, Jason Bourne with Matty Damon.
Yeah, the Firstborn Identity is so simple. And it's done so well.
The first one? The first one. Okay. Yeah.
I like any meme that has some kid doing something stupid in karate and falling down, and then you cut to the guy going, "Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne."
Oh yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah. We are a little obsessed with The Wrong Missy.
There you go, David. Hey, I told you
there is a place in The Wrong Missy has a very special place in our heart.
The cliff when she goes off that cliff.
Oh fucking shit! 3 days of shooting her whomping on that cliff.
Oh my God, that was so good.
That movie just popped. It's great.
I've recommended The Wrong Missy, but when I do it, I apologize when I recommend it. But you will laugh out loud. It is so good, and then you're going to be mad that you laughed out loud.
Yeah, the opening scene, because it's very a hard R movie. The opening scene, we're on a date. I'm this kind of nerdy guy, Dana, and she starts going, "Quit fucking me." And I'm like, "I'm not." And she's like, "No, this dick behind you." And it's like this huge wrestler guy. And he goes, "I'm not doing shit." And she goes, "Fuck you. My boyfriend's going to kick your fucking ass." I'm like, this is the first day of shooting because she was supposed to say some of that and then like just keep going and to keep it within reason. But every take we'd start laughing and I'm like, God damn. And it was kind of hard because I was a straight man and it's hard to be a straight man. And it's so funny to watch her go nuts. So everyone would just try to help feed her stuff. Like, just because she's so good on her own. She doesn't need anything, but it was such a fun movie because that was the first day of shooting. So you start to go, oh, this might be good because if we can keep doing this kind of shit.
It is insane.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have you seen it? Have you seen The Wrong Missy?
Oh yeah,
he's going to.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I just thought she was brilliant in it. I mean, it was like a tour. Great. I've said tour de force 3 times on this.
This is the third time.
That's a true like A Star Is Born. I mean, and Jim Carrey-esque, the physicality and her commitment.
Oh yeah,
and the staging of it and everything about it. It just worked.
Also out of nowhere, like no one. Plus, it's a movie. When I'm in it, they're probably looking to me to be like, oh, how funny is he going to be in this? And then she's right next to me, killing it. And you're like, no, this is where you look. In this one, you know what I mean? They're like
in this one,
yeah,
exactly.
I was like intrigued by the script because I go, oh, this is kind of like Meet the Parents, where I'm the Ben Stiller. Everything's happening around me. Nick Swartzen's weird. Everyone's weird, and I'm trying to hold it down. And that's a fun thing to play. Like Jason Bateman does it a lot, And
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Or Keegan and Schmigadoon. He's not part of the.
Yeah, it's fun to go. That's an important job too. I keep telling myself, and so to watch it all unfold and have it do well was a lot of fun.
Can we do a shout out to Cecily Strong before
Yeah,
and you and her and Schmigadoon. I mean, when the second season is out, or where are you at?
Second season's out. Yeah,
okay.
Second season is finished, so you can watch that whole. Yeah. Your person could binge that season if they want to.
They call it Schmicago.
Schmigadoon.
Binge the shit out of it. Also, to sum up, Dana, I want to say Keegan is from Southfield, Michigan. I'm from Bloomfield Hills. He was adopted as a child. I was told I was adopted. We have a lot of things in common. And
what are you reading?
That's all we have in common. That's it.
One last thing I had for him.
Okay, go ahead. One last thing.
We can take a break and come back. Your experience playing Obama's anger translator. Just that White House correspondence. That must have been sort of a out of body kind of gig. I mean, how did that come about?
It was a weird one. It was. I remember I had spoken to one of his junior speechwriters, and they were asking if we wanted to do something sometime, and I was like, "Yeah, that would be wonderful."
Wow! And
they got in contact with my manager at the time, and he was like, "Do you think it'd be possible for you to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner and do this thing?" Yes. And I said, "Yeah, let me talk to the speechwriter." So I spoke to the speechwriter. He wrote the speech. He wrote the scene for us, and it was. I remember rehearsing it so much that I knew Obama's lines and my lines. That was like, it was so important to me to nail it because I figured he's got other things on his mind, right? He's not just thinking about the speech.
The president. It's the president of the United States.
He's got other stuff going on.
He wants to jump in. He's like, "Oh, this is next. Do this," but you've rehearsed. So you're ready.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
So I had to be ready. And he was a hell of a straight man. He was so...
Yeah, he's funny.
He gets comedy. He gets comedy. And it was really, really fantastic. But I remember not thinking about the magnitude of the moment until literally seconds before I walked on stage. I mean, seconds. Because I had just been rehearsing. And then all of a sudden I'm backstage and I hear him go... I'm going to bring in my anger translator, Luther. And then I start to enter. And as I enter,
I would freak out.
I was like, yeah, I'm in character. Yeah. But my heart, all of a sudden, was trying to catch up to how nervous I should be.
When was your first laugh? Did your first line get a big laugh, and then you kind of? I mean, right away.
Intro probably got a laugh.
Yeah, first there were people in the audience who knew the character. Yeah, but the majority of the people in the audience did not know the character. But there were people in the audience who knew the character, and so that kind of calmed me down when I heard people go, "Yeah,
Luther!" Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, all right, we're gonna be all right." And then the first joke came out, it murdered. First joke murdered. And so then I knew I was going to be okay.
Then you calmed down.
I just look over and he was just killing it as the straight man. Killing it.
Yeah.
It was really good.
And he's pretty good.
Can I ask one more question? Sorry, we keep ending, but So you guys have been married 4 years, and now I've gotten to know you as a
5 years. We've been married 5 years now.
I think it's 4. I checked, but anyway, no. How do you resolve conflict, or do you go to therapy, marital, or is it you have such a flow at this point in your lives, with each other, or how's the marriage going? You seem very happy, but sometimes there's a lot of tension underneath. I'm kidding. No.
I think the work.
I was like, "This is your last question."
The work stuff is easy, which is odd because I feel like people are always like, I couldn't work with my wife or I couldn't work with my husband, and I go, "How do you do that?" I said, "Well, we were friends and we were working together and figuring out how to work together before the other stuff."
Before you became romantic.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So that's a big, big difference. So you're friends. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're friends, like similar sense of humor. We what is it that we we get along really well.
Our minds are kind of work as one. It's amazing. We really do. It's like we finish each other's
sandwiches. Those sandwiches.
Can I ask you a romantic question? Because I've never had that experience. I've been married for 71 years, but we're happily married. But this idea that you're friends, and then maybe at some point, one of you realizes subconsciously, consciously, well, this feels like more than friends to me. Like I'm really physically attracted. So there's this moment where you're just friends, and then you start making out. What's that like? Do you laugh about it? Like, because you're just pals for how long?
You're scared that the other person might ruin everything.
Go, what the fuck? I thought we were friends.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we both, because we didn't meet until we were in our 40s. And Keegan was separating and didn't have children, but he was going through his separation. And I was kind of like, look, I want to stay away from all of that. You go do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
I think basically the big thing is what is a partner and what is a friend and what does a friend mean and what does it mean to be a good partner to someone? And partners are people who inspire each other. They support each other. They provoke each other. They try to bring out each other's strengths. I mean, ideally, that's what you want in a partner. And when we were friends, and I knew Key and Peele was going to be ending soon, and I actually was lucky enough, I was able to go to a couple of tapings of the show, and I brought some friends to see him and see the show. And it was really phenomenal to be there and see those interstitials before the end. I said to Keegan, if you could do anything after Key and Peele ends, anything in the world, you had a silver platter and you put anything on it, and you didn't have any story standing in your way about what you could do. You didn't have a story standing in your way. What would you do? And it was a question that really threw him.
It was difficult to answer.
And then eventually he said, I want to do Shakespeare and I want to be Jason Bourne. And I was like, so you have theater agents. You can talk to your theater agents and you can fly to New York and meet with everybody and tell them you want to do theater. And within a year and a half of that conversation, Keegan was at the Public Theater with Oscar Isaac in Hamlet. Doug Lyman, who and I've become friends over the years. I said, I can introduce you to Doug Lyman, and Doug put Keegan in an action sequence in a TV show. And I was like, you can do any of these things. You're the only person stopping yourself from these things. You're the only one standing in your way. And I think that shift was kind of where Keegan was like, well, hey, wait a second. Don't leave. Can you stay around for a minute? Like, how are you able to figure out?
Or forever?
It's good to have someone you trust right there. I mean, there's a lot of positives to it.
Can you do that again? How did you do that? What can we do next? What do we do? And I'm saying, well, how do we, as long as you keep asking the universe for things and find a way to share and give back, the universe keeps giving you things. So I was like, well, what do you want to do? And how do we share? And how can, and one of the things that, on a side note, is that when I write for Keegan for comedy, which we didn't get into, and I know you're going to cut stuff down later when you need to.
Oh, no, these can go pretty long. Don't worry.
How do you
and
we
write?
Talked a little bit about this we were at the Milken conference a couple of weeks ago in LA, is they asked what we want to talk about. And I said, I really want to talk about, you can be mean with humor, or you can be inclusive with humor and make people laugh. Mm-hmm. And for the last couple of years, anything I write for Keegan, if you see, he does not make fun of people. Mm-hmm. He does not punch down. He's not mean to anyone. Mm-hmm. I was like, I want, anytime you tell a joke in public or on stage, you can be funny, and also you can lift people and be inclusive. You can be self-deprecating. But we've done a bunch of TV shows together where I give the writers a really hard time. I said, you are not allowed to make fun of Keegan. Keegan can make fun of Keegan, but you should not be. We're not making fun of the other people on the show, anyone on a panel. We're not, even for the NFL honors thing, I called Gronk and I said, Gronk, these are the jokes. Which joke do you want to be part of? And which joke do you feel comfortable with? And how do you want us to tell it so that you're in on it? Like, I want you to be in on it. And I think, that there's something about the fact that the two of us together can do more good in the world than either of us could do if we were apart. Yeah. So,
I'm so glad you got to say that.
It was bigger than both of us.
That's really, really interesting. Well, Keegan, obviously, as a performer, has an extreme likability quotient, is sort of a gift. I think Colin Jost did his book, he called it a punchable face, but Keegan is joyful when he's performing. I mean, you can tell he's having a blast, even when he's being, doing whatever he's doing. So that's cool. So you guys it's a very mature relationship. When you get together, you've already had life behind you, in your 40s. So I guess it's very mature. So you know all the tricks of the trade, all the ditches, all the stuff. So it sounds like, I'm going to say this is a good relationship. I'm going to give it 5 stars.
We're going to come on the couch in your place tomorrow and we'll talk about other things.
But it is someone you trust and respect, which you both have for each other, which is great, and says stuff to you. It's like therapy, which I started when I was 60, but that's another story. But it's great in that context. We'll do that. It's very interesting how we get in our own way as performers. So I want to do an action. We'll do one. And
now I'm like, well, I'll write one for you. Yeah. Let's just do that.
Yeah, and you'll write one for me. We were texting during the podcast. I'm sorry, but Elle and I.
Oh, and so you guys are going to do Harlem adjacent too.
Yeah, I'm doing Loaded and Locked. So I have a bottle of booze and a gun on the
loaded and locked.
Loaded and Locked.
They're Lancer shots. I think I wrote down.
Okay, good. Those are all good. They're all usable.
That's good. I don't have a title for it, but I've been trying to come up with the name, like his character. The name of his character has more than one meaning. I love those movies like that.
I love it too.
Keegan Michael Key and Elle Key have been our guests today. Love seeing you. Love getting to know people on these podcasts. Really fun. And I hope we run into each other, or as I like to say, see you around campus, the campus of show business. And Schmigadoon is everywhere. I recommend it to anyone, especially if not exclusively love Broadway musicals. It really rocks. You and Cecily are great in that.
All right, bye guys.
All right.
We'll see you.
Have a good day. Take care.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye. Awkward leave.
This has been a podcast presentation of Cadence 13. Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes. Available now for free wherever you get your podcast.
No joke, folks. Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13. Executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment.
The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman, with production and engineering support from Serena Regan and Chris Basil of Cadence 13.